Alright, it is a Wednesday, and I gotta tell you a little story. And I'm telling you right now, I'm warning you in advance, this may be disturbing, but I gotta get this off my chest. Normally I do videos on a variety of things, repairs and little projects I'm on, but this one's gonna be a little different. I've got, like I say, I've got something that just needs to be said. So, let me go back to when I was a young lad. I grew up on a small rural farm, 119 acre farm, and we had cows and chickens and pigs and pets. We had different kinds of animals, like all farms have. And had some buddies who lived, in the area, and we'd go hunting. So one day we're in this group, and we're out hunting. We come across a cat with a litter of kittens in the middle of this alfalfa field. And, we thought it'd be kind of funny. We grabbed the kittens and we threw them all in this gravity box. A gravity box is a wagon that's used to haul grain. And it's got really tall sides, impossible to get out of, especially for a kitty. So we threw the kittens in there, just tossed them in, and they're squealing and screaming. And we grabbed the mother, and we had a gunny sack along that we used for game. So we threw the mother cat in the bag and proceeded on. And we're all feeling pretty good about ourselves. High fives, the whole works. We got these little kitties, and we're just happy as hell that they're out there squealing. And we go down a little bit further and come across a couple bales of straw on the corner of the field, and nestled in there is a dog with 4 little puppies. And these puppies were probably less than 2 weeks old, could barely walk, eyes just starting to open. Well, we thought, wouldn't it be nice to give them little kittens something to play with? So we grabbed those puppies, went up the hill to the place where we threw the kittens, and we chucked all them puppies right in there, and they're squealing and stuff, and the mother dog, she comes out and she's howling and wondering what the heck's going on. And we thought that was pretty good too, so we all pat each other on the back and feeling pretty good about that deal, and proceeded to move along a little bit more. Well, pretty soon we get along the fence line, and this little neighbor, little pony comes out, and it's walking toward us and stuff, and one of the guys grabs his gun and shoots it right in the head, and there's like blood everywhere. This thing, that's head just, we all had shotguns with slugs, and that thing just blew up. And there's blood and guts and all kinds of crap. Oh, my lights went out. Well, anyway, you get the point. So anyway, we're just going crazy with these little critters. And like I say, we're just happy as hell. Obviously this is a bunch of BS. I made up the whole story. I'm not that kind of person. I didn't have any friends that... We barely didn't even go hunting. We went hunting, but we never molested cats. But there's a lot of people out there, they love their pets. They love their cats, they love their dogs, they love their horses. And if you were to do any of this stuff to them, do you think they would tolerate that? Do you think they would let that go? Or do you think they would be calling animal control and turning you in, and the sheriff would come and arrest you? Well, let's substitute the kittens for children in grade school, second graders, third graders, where these domestic terrorists come and grab them for no reason and just tear them out of school. They've actually went to school buses. The driver of the school bus left the children in the school bus all by themselves, didn't do a thing for them, just left them there. And, all the Trump supporters, they're patting themselves on the back and they're cheering that we're getting rid of all these illegals, because they make that assumption they're all illegals because they're not white. Well, these are actually all citizens. They're American citizens that happen to be not white. That's their crime. Today, the crime in America is not whiteness. So you shoot a lady in the face because she says something nasty like, "I'm not mad at you, dude," and then you shoot her in the face 3 times. And then you bury the evidence. You take the car, you take all the blood and everything, and you hide it from the public. And then you make up a story that, oh, this guy sustained internal injuries. Well, the car wasn't barely moving. I tell you, if it would have hit a feather, it probably wouldn't have moved it. And he was clearly not even touched by the car. But the Trump people will believe it because Fox News tells them to believe it. And all they watch is Fox News, especially in small rural towns. Just a bunch of idiots. They really are. They don't do any research. They do Fox News, they do Newsmax, and then they Google the liberals. They don't even know what a liberal is. They brand anybody that they don't understand as a liberal. They throw out words like communism and fascism. They don't even know what fascism is. They don't even know what Antifa stands for. Anti-fascist. They don't even know what a fascist person is. Like Trump, the orange turd. But it's a sad state. Now, my son lives up in the Minneapolis area, a block away from their house. And his wife is a teacher. And the kids can't go to school because these domestic terrorists just grab them for no reason. They don't have any warrants. They don't ID themselves. They could be just pedophiles, just a bunch of pedophiles that are grabbing kids at random. And that's okay, because in our society, it's okay, as long as they're getting rid of these illegals, because Fox News tells them to get rid of these illegals. And, they're beside themselves. What are they going to do? And I had a long talk with them tonight. I said, there's nothing you can do except put pressure on your congressman. I said, Amy Klobuchar, who's a good representative here in Minnesota, I keep telling her, we've got enough lip service. Do something. Congress, do something. Our country is falling apart. We've got a dictator who's attacking everywhere. We're going to end up in a world war. But the Trump dummies don't care. They don't care. And they think that we're getting rich on tariffs. They're so stupid they don't even know we pay the tariffs. They're that dumb. They don't know how anything works, but they're for Trump because, he puts on this act that he's Mr. Tough Guy, and he is the dumbest person on earth. I don't think there's anybody on earth that knows less about everything than this idiot. And, they still support him. And Congress, the Trump dummies, don't waste your time with them. Congress works for us. We pay their wages. And what are they doing? Not a damn thing. Why do we pay these people? They're worthless as hell. And, if you're on my side on this deal, I want you to contact these congressmen. Put pressure on them. Put pressure on the police department. Do your job. These are illegal acts that they're doing. They're breaking the law. What is the police department's responsibility? To protect and serve the citizens who pay you. If you're not going to do your job, then we better find somebody who knows how to do it. And, these Trump idiots, these domestic terrorists, they're under instructions to incite violence. And, I've been at several of these protests where there's 30,000 people, not one single act of violence. Nothing. They're peaceful protests, but they don't want that. They want a fight. And I said, if 2 or 3 people decide that they're going to fight back, Fox News is going to take a picture of that and they're going to blow it up and they're going to tell them this is how all of them are. They're all like this. And it's 3 people. Well, how many thousands of these Trump moron terrorists are beating up people? You see it every day. There's like 24 of these morons picking one guy out of a car and breaking the windows, and the poor guy's on the pavement saying, I'm not resisting, and they're kneeling on him. This is 1,000 times worse than the George Floyd thing. And I said, I don't care what you think about George Floyd. I had my opinions there too. But nobody deserves to die at the hands of the people that are supposed to protect us. And why are border agents in Minnesota? The border is like not here. It certainly isn't a Canadian border. Why aren't you at the border, you idiots? They don't even know where they are. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Now, tomorrow they're having a veterans protest up in Minneapolis. My son said, Dad, you're a veteran. You can come, but I'll warn you, it's going to be violent, not the veterans. The terrorists, these terrorists are going to be, what they do is they shoot rubber bullets into the crowd and pepper spray. So he said, you're going to get hit by you could get hit by, even if you're not even near the thing. I mean, I think I might go up there and do it. I'm gonna probably do it. And if they shoot me with rubber bullets and pepper spray and stuff, I'll have it on my feed. But we have to do something. And I told my son, I can't help you much. I mean, we've protested, we've made people aware that this is not right. I said, then I listened to my friends and they're all a bunch of Trump dummy idiots. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. They watch Fox News, and boy, I tell you, Fox News, we got people in town here where I live. Same thing. Had one guy say, well, he was up in the cities, his wife was shopping, he was going to go to McDonald's and get a cup of coffee and sit in the lobby. Well, he couldn't because it was locked. So he went to Burger King and that was locked. Well, it was locked because they're afraid ICE will come in there and take all the employees for no reason because they're terrorists. And he said, well, that's because these people are all Somalis and they're going to be taken. I said, a lot of these people, so what, they're Somalian. They have green cards, they have work visas, they're citizens. I said, illegals are illegal, but not all of them are illegal. Some of them, there's a handful that might be illegal. But they brand anybody who's not white and talks different than us or dresses different than us as illegal aliens. But these are citizens, and they're people that have every single right in the world to be here because they're here legally. I have a daughter-in-law that's Asian, and she's an American citizen. Well, I suppose they'd take theirs, and the Trump dummies would laugh, and they'd high-five each other just like we did when we killed all them kittens. Remember them kittens? Think of the kittens. It kind of makes you wish that some terrorist organization would grab these people's kids and tear them away from them and show you what it's like to be a parent and have your children ripped away from you and you'll never see them again. They're animals. They're animals, and if you support these people, you're an animal. And if you support Donald Trump, you're an animal. And you're supporting these terrorists here in America. They are domestic terrorists. There's no way around it. They can sugarcoat it all you want and say that they're saving America. They're turning America into a shithole country. We are no better. We're worse than any country that I ever saw when I was growing up. These countries you see where the elections are rigged and all that, and people are, citizens are beat up and all this because they said something against their great leader. That's where we are. We are there. That's us. This is America. This is Trump's America. I hope you're proud. Hope you're proud of yourself.